Alright, everybody. It's, um, Andrews with Predictions here, and today we're gonna be, this is like the first time I've done anything in a while. I have been on vacation recently, and also I have, been very busy, um, just doing other stuff. Um, I'm not really doing other stuff. I've just been on vacation recently, so that's why my activity has been very low. But I'll come back today. There's not too much to talk about, so this should be pretty short, but let's get into it. Currently, there is excessive heat watches and warnings across the west coast, along with red flag warnings, heat advisories, small craft advisories, that kind of stuff. We have flash flood advisories and warnings over in Texas due to a lot of heavy rain falling that you can see on your screen over here. Maybe that is that a severe thirst warning? There are marine warnings, or special marine warnings out here in Louisiana. Let's take a closer zoom on those. Looks like some strong gusty winds are possible. We have a flash flood watch here. And we also have some excessive heat advisories there. Looking at the Weather Prediction Center's page, we'll just start off by looking at this. We have a few areas that are likely going to see flash flooding today. What includes Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho. We have another area that includes Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and into Arizona. And then we have a third area that includes Louisiana and a little bit of Texas there, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and into South Carolina and North Carolina there. South North Carolina. On day 2, we have a flash flooding area for Wyoming, New Mexico, and Colorado. We have another one for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and into Virginia. On day 3, we already have a flash flooding area. This would be for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and into Virginia again. And if you want to look at the front map. So around 18Z today, we're going to be expecting widespread thunderstorms across the south, and we'll look at that in a little bit here. We're also going to be expecting scattered thunderstorms out there in the east. And around 0Z to 6Z, we could see a couple strong storms out there in Oregon, and maybe one or two in the south. Tomorrow, you wake up in the morning, it's still going to be raining in portions of the Carolinas and the south. There's a front that's just going to stall there and drop tons of rain again Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Now, Saturday and Sunday, we could see some severe weather across the upper Midwest. Details are slim, but it's possible. And Monday, too, it's just going to keep on raining down there. So we have a couple slights today, again tomorrow, and again on day 3. With the QPF, portions of the Carolinas, let's zoom in there. Portions of the Carolinas, they could see upwards of 10 plus inches of rain right in here. Right in there in the Outer Banks. 10 plus inches. Widespread in areas that are going to be circled in this black color. Widespread 2 plus inches is likely in this area. Widespread. Then I'll do pink. Anywhere where these areas could see 3 to 4 plus inches of rain. So there's a lot of areas that could see a lot of heavy rain with this thing. Looking at today, tomorrow, then the next couple of days, I'll just look at them individually. There's the rain totals. Seems like day 6 and 7 they taper off a little bit. Looking at the Storm Prediction Center, let's go look at your forecast for today. So we have a marginal out there in Oregon. Really only includes Bend and Redmond. There's no tornado risk. There's a wind risk and no hail risk. There's a couple of strong to severe thunderstorms are going to be possible there, mainly with hail, or maybe mainly with wind and maybe a couple hail stones, but they would be small. Tomorrow, no severe weather, and day 3, no severe weather. Day 4 through 8, potential too low, and then predictability too low. Right on this day 7 to 8 period, there's potential for some severe weather right in here. We're going to watch that closely. We also could see a few isolated severe thunderstorms in the mid-Atlantic. On, that would be, I think, Thursday. But overall, it's going to be quiet for a while. Up in the Pacific here, or in Atlantic, nothing's happening tropical-wise. Eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Ignatico. I don't know. Ignacio. I don't know how to pronounce that. We have Hilda, and we have a Invest that could form as well. Or, low pressure, sorry. That used to be Tropical Depression 9E. Here's Hilda's cone. It's likely going to weaken today and into tomorrow. Look at, the ice storm here. Probably not really going to strengthen too much more. Central Pacific. Really only have Hilda out there. That's it. Actually, there's no tropical systems at all right now. So, looking at, we're going to look at the HRRR for today across the south, and then we'll look at tomorrow too. We're mainly looking at this for heavy rain purposes. Let's go look at Lindsay here. We'll do the loop of it too. Forecast loop, boom. So, it looks like it initializes pretty well with a couple of strong clusters. They kind of weaken off, and then it actually around a little bit earlier. We'll take a sounding there in that bay. So, with this here, you could see an isolated wind gust or two. But that's it. You're not going to have any tornado threat, and you're not going to have any hail threat at all. Moving on here, it's just your normal pulse storms in Georgia, or in the south, each day. Maybe you get one or two of them that go severe, but nothing really too noteworthy. Now, remember that these clusters could really form anywhere in the south, so we know there's gonna be widespread thunderstorms. Can't rule out a couple severe. It's normal summertime there. Then these widespread thunderstorms move up into the Carolinas and just create havoc up there with widespread heavy rain. And maybe a couple severe storms again. Let's look at your total precipitation. This is going to be over the next 48 hours. And just look at that heavy rain build. Now, remember, this isn't going to be accurate, but just know that some spots are going to get hammered with rainfall. Some spots could get upwards of 10 inches within the next 48 hours, but all we know is that the Carolinas, they're going to get hammered. Or anywhere really in there, you're going to get hammered. You're going to see a lot of heavy rain. Some areas might even approach 10 inches within the next 48 hours if something crazy happens, which is possible. Some areas out in the Gulf there, 11 inches, 12 inches, that's a lot of heavy rain. Now, moving on here, we're going to look at the, we're just going to look at the HRRR for later today up in Oregon, just to see what happens up there. Let's move up into the northwest here. So it seems like mid-afternoon a couple thunderstorms do fire off. Nothing really substantial with them. Let's just take a sounding like in between the clusters here. And yeah, you can very well see why they added the marginal. There is some deep layer shear upwards of 25 knots, along with lapse rates approaching 10 Celsius per kilometer. That'll do a decape of 1,300 and the inverted V profile there. This will do for a couple isolated gusts. Maybe they'll add a marginal tomorrow too. Let me see what this looks like. Again, don't be surprised if they add a marginal 2 tomorrow. It looks a little bit better. A little bit more moisture, and you also have a little bit more shear. So yeah, we'll probably see a marginal. If I had to guess an area, it'd probably be like right here. We'll have another marginal tomorrow. Let me just see what the thunderstorm risk looks like for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll probably have another marginal. And seems like they don't really mention too much. Okay. Let's go into the NAM model now. We'll go look at the, more or less, you're going to be focusing on the mid-Atlantic. There could be a couple strong storms in the later part of the model run, so we'll look at that. So looking at around 15Z, we'll take a sounding there in the Outer Banks. Not very good. Won't really conduct of severe weather. Okay, here we go. This sounding would definitely support some severe weather. You have an enlarged photograph here within the 1 kilometer range. Now, your deep layer shear isn't great, but there's enough in my opinion. You have a skinny cape profile. So you're not gonna really have that much. You have some decent D cape for severe weather and some decent 3 cape. Your low level lapse rates are approaching 7 Celsius per kilometer, so that's not terrible. The wind profile overall looks pretty linear, so you're probably gonna see a linear storm mode with maybe a potential for a tornado or two, but mainly a gusty wind threat. A little bit further on in the adventure, looks like your deep layer shears kind of stays the same. Most of the other environmental ingredients are still pretty similar. Let's go look at the total rainfall over the next couple of days. We'll just look at the whole United States because, and remember, the name is a lower level model, so it's not going to get like all the high-res details into play. So let's just see here. Oh my gosh, very heavy rain indicated by the NAM model over the next 4 days. Not 4 days. Let's see here. How long would this be? 24, 24. Over the next 3.5 days, very heavy rainfall. Widespread 4+ inches up the East Coast. That's not good. Let's go look at the 12Z GFS. It's actually loading in. Let's go see what it shows over the next few days, and we'll analyze a little bit of the longer range pattern, and then we'll probably call it. So insulated this week. This is Friday. We're not really expecting any severe weather on Friday to occur, but Saturday it looks pretty possible. You seem like you got a low pressure there in the North Dakota area. I'll just take a sounding up there and I'm gonna depict it there. Yeah, that's not happening. But you have a lot of precipitation right here. We'll stop it at 132. Let's go analyze stuff. Let's go look at the theta E. So you have a lot of deep moisture coming up from the Gulf. It seems like you got a warm front, probably stationed like that, I would assume. Probably stationed like this, maybe. You got a warm front like that or something. You probably have a dry line or cold front extending down here. And then you might have another, like, backside pressure. But you have a low pressure, I think, right about here. And maybe another one here. Maybe another one there. A couple of lows. Kind of got some triple lows. I'll just take a sounding right there. Just see what it is. Probably going to be contaminated because it's not very good. Very capped. Let's go look more in depth, though. So high moisture values with southeasterlies at the surface. Let's go look at your keep crossovers here. A lot of instability actually getting punched up in here. A lot. Let's look at your lapse rate plume or your EML plume. You got a good amount of EML coming in there. We'll look at your bulk surface shear here. Bulk to surface. That's pretty good. Upwards of 60 knots in some areas. That'll do it. That'll do it. Let's look at vorticity. We'll look at the low level vorticity in the atmosphere here. Lots of it. I'll take 850. Lots of vorticity. That's going to punctuate storm development in upper level too. So you definitely have an upper level disturbance right here. We'll just look at dew points. 60s and 70s, not bad. Let's go look at the upper air disturbance that'll come back. So let's go 500 millibar and see what we got here. So looks like we have a barreling trough right here with some sort of another little maybe another kink in the trough, another barrel, but this is like the main trough over Montana. It seems like you have another kind of area of a disturbance, maybe another low pressure in there. That's gonna punctuate over this area. We'll look at 850 millibars. So looking at 850, you have a lot of turning in the atmosphere. You have also a very strong shear at 850 millibars. You have a lot of turning, so you have, like, I think it's out in this direction, and then you have it out of the southeast. That's going to create turning in the atmosphere, and you could very well see a tornado threat if this would play out. Now remember, we are still far out in the process, so... Well, we'll just take sounding right there, kind of southwest Iowa. Not great. Let's go zoom in and take some more. I'm gonna go Northern Plains. Let's go look at the key crossovers, and let's see here. So, maybe you're right here. That's not bad, but you don't really want this 2-point depression right here. What this would cause, if that would come through, is mainly a wind and hail threat, no tornado threat. You have too high of a dew point depression with that one. Probably gonna have too of a dew point depression up here too. Oh yeah, too high. Too high of capping down there. Still not very good. You don't have the dynamics in play. Pretty much what the GFS is telling us is that capping is going to be a major problem if this actually plays out. You're not going to get any storms to initiate. It really just caps over. Well, you're not. Well, you might still get storms to initiate, but what I'm saying is that that environment is not good when you have that much capping. Like, oh my goodness. Still too much capping. Now, this is very far out, so this will definitely change, but right now it ain't, it's not really looking that great, if I'm to be honest with you, if you have a look like that. But remember, this is only one model, so there's a lot of other ones too. It looks like the next day, wow, there's some very strong shear across the upper Midwest. So it looks like this is a pattern for MCSs. You have a large area of shear, and they would go eastbound and just ride the shear. Very classic pattern for this time of year. So you'll probably end up getting an MCS out of this, and yeah, boom, there it is. So probably ride the warm front axis in here. Lots of deep moisture coming in from the Gulf again. Look at that, lots of deep moisture. Dew points all the way up into the 70s, and even approaching 80. You have high theta E values as well. Let's look at your 850 millibar jet. Your 850 millibar jet is screaming. It's got to change of direction too, and it's screaming. Let's look at your Kate plots here. So let's see here. Kate, a lot of instability across the area as well. And if you look at these, look at the crossovers. These would be favorable for, I mean, if this solution would play out, you probably get initial supercell development. Now, remember, we are close to a week out on this, so this will definitely change. But you got a nice lapse rate plume too. Look at precip just to see what it shows. There's nothing at this point, but then 0Z, there's probably something. Oh, no, nothing. Or actually, the Northern Plains. Let's look up there. That's not bad. That would do it. I would do it for a nice threat there. I mean, the only problem you have is that the warm nose there, but that's fixable, especially this far out. Look more into Illinois. See what that's looking like down there. Very capped in the low levels. Now remember, this will change the information here again. Let's look a little bit. Let's look at 0Z, just see what the model shows at that point. So still have a lot of instability in play. This is definitely though a pattern for MCSs. We'll just look the next day there. Let's look at the 500 millibar jet again. Maybe the next day would be like over the northeast if this becomes true. Yeah, maybe. We have the UK Met coming in and the Canadian, but I don't think those will load. We can look at the 6C GEFS on College Dew page. That's probably something we should do, and we'll go do that. Actually, the 12Z would actually make it out here. So here's Saturday. They are already agreeing on some sort of 500 millibar jet there, and then the next day they're agreeing on it over the Northern Plains. Let's look at Cape over 1,000, and very well All of them are agreeing that it's probably going to be over 1,000. Same with Saturday, so we have agreement there. Let's look at mean superswing composite. So, um, looks like we have agreement over the Midwest and into the upper Midwest and more of the kind of east northern central plains area there. Look at EHI probabilities too. Definitely do have agreement. Look, yeah, we have agreement with this. Let's look at the mean ensemble temps. Their 850s aren't too hot. A little bit more hot there with this day. Look at that ensemble win there. So, let's see here. A good amount of the ensembles actually show some decent 500 millbar jet into the upper Midwestern plains. Some of the ensembles don't show it, so definitely something to keep an eye on. Look at mean precip. I mean, it won't really do too much this far out because we're still several days out. But let's look at the ensemble. So some of them show low pressures and stuff across the area. The day before too, some of them show it. Pretty interesting. It seems like member 20, you just don't look at member 20. It's off the charts. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. If you enjoy content like this, please be here for the next one.